This dandy man is Otto Dix. He loved jazz music and was a pro at shimming. And he may have painted his family rather strangely here, but trust me, it came from love. If you're wondering, wait, are we talking about that Otto Dix? The so-called tortured soul who painted those famous war scenes? Yes, the very one. Today, I'm going to show you the other sides of Otto Dix, because a person is rarely one-dimensional. And here's an unpopular opinion.
Otto Dix was a happy guy.
What was that again?
Otto Dix was a happy guy.
In fact, one of the happiest artists I've ever come across, especially considering what he lived through. Let me show you Otto Dix before the war. Here he is at 20 years old with a hard, stern gaze. Is he already wary of the world? Maybe. And we'll get to the pink carnation later. He had been a sickly and accident-prone child, but cheerful, spending carefree hours exploring the woods and noticing everything. And that instinct to observe, it would come to define him as an artist. When war broke out, he volunteered, not out of patriotism, but curiosity. He said later that war was something he simply had to experience for himself, to see people out of control and to understand what humans really are. That curiosity, though, it came with a price. He was wounded several times and came home sick and shaken. Had nightmares for years. Over the next decades, Otto painted what he had seen, not as protest or self-pity, but as documentation. Cold, detailed, and honest. But he didn't only paint wars, or the ills and uglies that the war left behind in the Weimar Republic. He also did portraits, a whole boatload of them. Family, friends, society people, and he drew them oddly, almost unflatteringly, as if he didn't like them. Here are his parents. People take one look and think he must have had a bad relationship with them. But that's not it. He simply refused to prettify anyone, not even the people he loved. His parents were hardworking people. His mother a seamstress, his father a metal worker. They may not look polished, but there's a quiet dignity in how he painted them. Let's check out some of his friends. Anita Berber was a top star in her time. A dancer and actress, famous and scandalous in equal measure. She embodied the chaos and excess of Weimar Berlin. Now look at how Otto painted her. The deathly white face, the sunken cheeks, and the blood-red lips, they all intensify her sickly appearance. She looks old, but she was only 25 here. So what is this painting saying? Is it social commentary on decadence? Or is he showing a ferocity and defiance in a lonely life of fame and scandal? The next painting, don't stare at his eyes too long, is eerie for one thing, but Dr. Heinrich Stadelmann was a psychologist, well known for his hypnotic therapy. So he may just hypnotize you with his orange eyes. And the green face? I don't know, his lunch was not agreeable. Otto believed a person's appearance was always an expression of their interior. A person's posture, his hands, his ears, even the folds in their clothing, they all told the painter something about the person's psychology. Those details made his portraits remarkable, and makes us wonder, what did he think of this man? And one more. This is Dr. Meyer Ehrmann, a close friend and a celebrity throat specialist for singers and actresses. What shape calls out to you as you look at this painting? Everything is round. The headlamp, the convex mirror, the medical tools, even the bags under his eyes, the cheeks, the nose, the hands, and let's not forget, the belly. Is it satire? Maybe. But it's also a nod to the old masters. The convex mirror, the Arnolfini portrait, the cluttered detail showing his profession, that's pure Northern Renaissance. And say what you will about the doctor, he loved this portrait. Otto's portraits weren't about affection or dislike. He painted with the same detached precision whether it was his parents or a Berlin socialite. What mattered to him was capturing the essence of a person, even if that essence was uncomfortable. By the early 1930s, Otto's life was good. Like, really good. He had married Martha, who shared his love of dancing, and they had 3 beautiful children together. So it's not surprising that his paintings often feature them during this time. Still not idealized, but full of warmth. He also painted the war triptych then, because even in the happiest years, the subject never left him. But as life goes, things took a sharp turn with the rise of this man. Otto's art was declared degenerate, and he was dismissed from the Dresden Academy of Fine Arts where he had been teaching. Many of his artist friends fled Germany, but Otto went south, moving his family to a quiet town. And then he laid low, and he painted. A lot. His work from this time, like Triumph of Death and Seven Deadly Sins, show a world that's gone completely mad when greed, power, and violence had eaten Germany alive. And by the way, the mustache was added much later. With his art essentially banished from his own country, he turned to safer subjects like landscapes. But across everything he painted, he deliberately exaggerated perfection. This was his quiet view against the Nazis' push for Romanticism as a higher art. Trouble didn't stay away though. In 1939, the Gestapo arrested him on suspicion of plotting against Hitler. And in 1945, when he was 53, Otto was drafted to fight in the final, hopeless months of World War II. And as if that wasn't bad enough, he was captured by the French troops. If there's a silver lining, it is this. He got to paint while he was a prisoner. And this only happened because a French officer happened to recognize him and put him in a group with other artists. He was no doubt miserable, as shown here, but he still painted this Madonna triptych for the camp's chapel. When he finally returned home, he seemed broken. Was this the end of the happy artist? It was tough. A real struggle. In exchange for doing portraits of wives and children of French soldiers, Otto made little money here and there. But then, something shifted. In 1949, he painted The Resurrection. Christ still bears his wounds, but he is smiling, arms open to heaven. It's not a triumph, but a renewal. Otto too began to see things in a new way. He was no longer cautious with his brush and painted freely and spontaneously, and colors became his music. He spent more time on religious art. He believed it gave him complete artistic freedom, a way to paint new images rooted in experience instead of repeating old images from picture books. Recognition followed too, in both East and West Germany. He painted, he traveled, and back home, he lived quietly surrounded by his family, now with grandchildren in the picture. One of his last self-portraits show a skull crowned with a wreath. Even here, he was honest about life and mortality. By the way, remember that pink carnation from his early self-portrait? Years later, he painted the poet Ivar von Luyken, a thin, gaunt, and shabby man standing in an attic. On the table sits a rose in a beer bottle. The poet lived in poverty, yet his verses overflow with joy and the beauty of nature. And maybe Otto saw a bit of himself in the poet, a man who saw life for what it is, but never stopped noticing its beauty. That was Otto Dix, a very happy man.